Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, working on a 39 Forgotten Hot Rod project. So last time we showed you guys how last two times we showed you guys how we put the full floor pan in from Max, and then we put the inner rockers in also from Max. That saved me a ton of time, like I mentioned, by getting pans that were already stamped and ready to go in. Now what we need to address next is take care of the trunk pan area. A lot of people keep asking me about the firewall. When are we going to fix the firewall? When are we going to fix the firewall? Well, we need to fix the stuff that's structurally an issue first, then we can go back and take care of the firewall afterwards. But as much as I want to do something creative with the firewall, we need to do this stuff that's structural and is important to getting the integrity of the car back nice and solid. So the trunk pan area is rotten, 90% of it's gone. The area where the spare tire sits in the trough area over the rear cross member is just junk, and it's also rotted out down into the rear panel that goes under the trunk lid. So I need to make a floor pan for the trunk area. So I'm going to do that actually custom because it's something that's fairly flat, fairly simple, and while it won't be original, this car is more of a hot rod, so I'm okay with doing something out of flat sheet metal. So we're going to utilize the big giant pieces of cardboard that the floor pan came in. It was boxed really well from Max, and they gave us nice heavy cardboard. So I'm going to use that, cut it up, make a pattern out of that, then we can transfer it to metal, do some bead rolling with my Eastwood bead roller, and then we will have something that's pretty good we can lay in and weld it in. But we're going to show you the process as we do always along the way. Alright, so we'll open the trunk area here and show you guys what we're working with. As I mentioned, underneath on the car right here, this lower rear panel is just junk. Unfortunately, because the floor pan rotted out in the back, and then it just rotted out the rear trunk or rear tail pan. We do have a replacement one of those also from Max, and the support that goes inside that we will be putting in once we get this trunk all sorted out. But so open this guy up here. Put our wiring out of the way, but as you can see, there's not a lot there. That's the ground. Hey, there's my boot. So we got the rear trunk pan is pretty junky, so it's actually, this is where I was talking about the spare tire sits, that's all rotted out, but just in front of that, like right here, is actually super solid. So I'm gonna probably cut right along that area, and then we'll work our way back. I'm gonna try and make more of just a flat floor pan, not something that has all these ups and downs, and just make a nice simple floor pan. And we may put something down here that drops down in that we can store some stuff in. I haven't decided yet, but we'll start making patterns, see how everything looks, and then we can kind of decide from there. I have to bend our piece in half here to get it in. Can't do that easily with metal. That's why we make a cardboard pattern. So, actually need to go the other way. Hey, look at that. So that we were going straight across. That would actually give us a nice big trunk floor. Instead of dropping it down, we'd have a nice big floor we could actually use for something. What's up, buddy? I don't know if we need that dip down or not, so that might actually be a better bet. Now the only problem is getting this in is going to be a problem. I think we may have to possibly cut these little braces here. They're already separated at the bottom, I think. Yeah. So we may need to cut these braces at the top so we can get the pan in and out, and then after we get everything welded, I'll have to weld those braces back in. That's can't be afraid to cut something apart a little bit just to get in and do it how you want. I'd rather make this out of one piece than make it out of multiple pieces than this just making a couple little quick cuts. So I think I kind of like this. This gives us a bunch extra room. So we just gotta adjust the corners. Again, great thing about cardboard is we can kind of make it do what we want with brute strength.
yeah, and I think that might work. I kind of like that. Do a little bead roll design and we might be pretty good. So I'm gonna get my marker and I'll mark out corners that are bent up here so we can get them fitting better, and then cut these braces out as well. We can start sliding it in and out, and that'll be a good start. And we'll hopefully have a pretty simple panel to make here. There we go. Okay. There we go. Resell. Yep. There we go. Okay. Now we can get our pattern out of here.
So I don't know if I mentioned this before in videos, you guys might have missed it, but one big thing that I try and do, if you don't have a good way to accurately cut a panel and you have like electric shears or whatever, something I like to do is I like to cut, especially stuff where there's a radius, I like to cut just off of the line, and then I'll cut everything out by hand. So I end up using a set of aviation snips. These are left and right cut. I know it sucks to do it, but you'll grow some manly sized forearms if you don't already have some by using these. I like to do all my final cuts by hand and trim them like this. I think I get a more accurate cut doing it that way. With a electric shear, while it's quick and you can make some accurate cuts if your hand are steady, all it takes is one little slip and you'll put a divot in the panel and then you got to fill it and it's a mess. So I left a little bit extra on the edge here that I'm going to leave here for now. What I'm actually going to do is just cut a little bit of this extra where I have it notched for the body. I'm going to have those areas I'm going to cut out so they can actually fit in around the like substructure that's in there for the body on there. Then we have a little spot where the latch will be. Now the latch might be hard to see here, but the latch is on a little brace that goes up to the front of the floor pan stock. Because we are going to a flat style floor, we will actually need to put like a brace the brace underneath of this panel, or a brace, and spot weld it and put the latch onto that. So what I'm probably going to do is take the latch out of the car for now, and then we'll just put this in, and then we can line it back up. I haven't decided yet, but once we start eyeballing this, I may notch this out. I'm not sure yet, but we're going to just trim some of this down a little closer, especially these cutouts here, and then we can slide it in and see how close everything is to fitting, and then we can start laying our beads out and everything. It's actually what we want here, so as much as I want to complain right now, it's probably actually a good thing that this sucks to get in it, because that means it fits really well. So, gotta trim just a hair off. There. We're on the right track. So, all right down in there, you see where my line was, I left a little extra. Kind of glad I did, because the body actually bulges out right here just a little bit. But I want this thing to fit into all the corners as well as I can, so I'm not filling with the welder. And we got a nice tight fit. So what I'm gonna do is actually notch just right in here away, so it fits nice and tight, but then it fills that gap in as much as I can. Try and get it good. Up here on the sides, beautiful, fitting tight. And then over on this side, it's also fitting tight, but it's a little too tight. It's actually bowing the panel up a little bit. So I think when I take this out the next time, I'm gonna just take a sliver off of the edge with the aviation snips. I'm just gonna take just a little sliver off, and that'll probably make it slide in a little easier. I'm sure some of the factory undercoating's fighting me, but we want this thing to fit in tight, but not be bending the panel when we're done, because then it's gonna warp and act funny when we weld it. We want the panel to be relaxed. And then same thing back in this corner, some edges that are touching, so I'll need to trim them a little bit. You can see our little latch right there. My mark, I didn't cut it out yet. I'm kind of waiting to see how everything fits before I do that. I usually like to make those cuts kind of last. Same with this extra I have here. I'm gonna leave all that on because I'd rather have it overhanging and we trim it off at the end than to have not enough and we gotta fill the gap. So trying to avoid that. So I'm gonna take this out, probably be a couple times of in and out to get this thing fitting how I want. Then we can start laying our beads out, or our strengthening ribs. So I'm gonna probably, once I get it fitting really good, I'm gonna see how it sits, and then I'm gonna probably kind of roughly lay the beads out in the car. A lot of times I like doing that just so we can line stuff up. There is some factory beads you can see. I'm trying to put my right in there. So there's some factory beads out in there, so I may try and line them up and have them flow all the way back. So it sort of looks factory, but we'll see what happens, and if I can get my bead roller into the throat depth enough to get in there to do that. So we will see. I can actually see I left a little bit of the Sharpie mark on this side where I said it was hitting too much. So I'm basically just trying to take the Sharpie line the rest of the way off. That's probably why it was tight, because I left the excess and we had a good fit with our cardboard. So if I just take the rest of the Sharpie line off, this thing will probably fit half decent. Or at least fight us a little better. A little less, not better. But I'd rather do this than have it be way too small. I know it sucks to take the panel in and out 10 times, but it'd be much happier when you don't have to weld big giant gaps because you were in a hurry. So, especially a trunk panel like this that's really big, I don't want to have to waste this metal and do it a couple times. We want to nail this the first time. They don't show this on the TV shows because, well, this is kind of boring to watch. But this is where they'd skip the commercial and show you guys pantyhose or something. Boom! There you go. Alright, let's see how it fits. Ooh.
That's nice.
Yeah. Tiny little gap there. He's got to cut a little notch there. There. It's all tight in there. So you're really close. Alright, so we got the pan all fitting really nice. I'm pretty happy with it. For right now, it's just sitting on top of the latch here. I don't want to cut this opening out yet because we want to wait till the very last point to do that. We're also going to kind of copy the original brace that goes under the floor right here. Now, originally the floor stepped down right about here, so the original brace stopped there and welded to where it stepped down. And since we're getting rid of that step to give us a bigger trunk floor, we can't just end our bracing right there because it needs something to tie into. So what we're going to do is I'm probably going to make a cross brace that's somewhere about here where the body starts tapering in, and then we're going to connect the factory brace right there, which holds the trunk latch. That'll keep everything from moving around and will give us some support. So since we're putting our brace roughly about here, we'll figure out the exact measurement. We're going to end our beads just before that. So we're working with 18 gauge steel here, cold rolled steel. A lot of guys end up using heavier steel. That's a big, I don't want to say mistake, but it's something I see that guys overdo stuff when they do floors and things like that on these old cars. People tend to go overboard and they use like 1/8 inch plate or 16 gauge or 14 gauge. Really, it's too thick. If you have a bead roller or a way to put strengthening ribs in the panel, that will more than make up for it. You're not putting an extra like 200 pounds into the vehicle. So we have 18 gauge steel here. On the outside of the car, I might use like 19 or 20 gauge. So for floors, I use 18 gauge. So what we can do is put beads in this. That will give the strength, and it will also save a little bit of weight. So we're trying to match up the original beads. So there's beads just behind the seat pan here that actually are centered in between the beads that are in the seat pan where Mike's standing. So we're going to actually, since those beads are hiding, we're going to line up with the center of the beads that are already on the floor. We have a square edge in the top that was a factory cut edge off the sheet that you guys saw me cut out. So we're going to use our square to kind of give us our reference point, and if we square up the bottom of that with the center of the bead, that will give us most of the line. That will be a square, straight line, and then we can finish off the rest that we need. But I'm actually kind of thinking
That's actually not a bad
it's actually
spot.
a good spot because the brace will probably end right about, with the flange on it, it's going to probably end up being about there. So
Do you like the center line of that?
that looks pretty good. Almost looks like they're. Let's lay it out and see. I'm gonna do that. So you know a T. So my stopping point for each bead. So I do these when I'm laying out beadwork. If I possibly can, I try and lay it out in the car, because this is your time where you can lay all your beads out and stand back and say, that looks right, it doesn't look right. Like that looks. That's what I was thinking.
This bead,
Kind of goes outwards, so we can't necessarily use square.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was a good example. If we would have just roughly done this, it would have looked like the beads had a kink to them. So I think what we want to do maybe is use your square, or actually that straight ruler.
Straight roller would be better.
Go up into that bead
Yep.
and center it the whole length of that bead, and that hopefully will get us more in a better
Direction.
direction. I don't know what the hell. You want to just put a marker line in the center of it? You can,
It's like this bead got waffled on the bottom side. It's like not.
oh, that's all right. Well, you can roughly mark your center there. Yes. All right, there we go. So, how's that?
Try that.
We'll just have to figure out our horizontal line afterwards.
Right about there.
Much better. Yeah, that's the money shot. Looks nice and
Let me mark center all these.
okay. Yeah, that's it. Now when you're standing behind the car, it looks kick-ass. Yeah, this will be cool.
That looks perfect.
Yeah, that's good. That looks awesome. As long as I don't mess up rolling the beads around, we're on to something.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, that's a whole another variable that.
You know what we should do? Let's stagger the ends of the beads so they go like this.
Well, I was trying to think if I wanted to do that or if I wanted to roll a bead, a step that went right along here. That's like step this area up just a little bit.
Yeah, but then the trunk floor will be almost
Yeah.
angled. What we should do is you could almost do a third one and have them.
I like this. Yeah, we could do the staggered. We could end them, and this one, you know, here, and this one
Slightly more where the brace is going to be at.
like here, and then well
Match
this one,
'em.
yeah, and then that one would be that one. We'll have to see how it looks. We can erase the line and see if we like it. It might just,
Be too much.
yeah, it might be kind of cool, just rather than straight lines. Just add some extra thought process for me rolling beads. I remember where my stop and starts are. Let's get a little push. Now just tell me, I'm going to go a little bit, just tell me what that bead depth looks like.
It's not bad.
Should it go a little deeper?
For first pass, I'd do that and then we'll step it in more. Because you want to do a second pass, right?
I'd rather do a
Oh, back.
backwards. Yep.
Go ahead. Oop. Go ahead.
Yeah, we want a deeper draw. How's that?
A little more.
Go a little bit more. I think you can't go much more. Keep it level. Turn the knob so it's just like, yeah, so it's easy. Let's just go with that. So now we need 1, 2, 3,
Just pull it back towards you.
4. Yeah, that looks good. I like that.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I think I'm gonna coin the end of these beads too. Right here.
Yep.
Make it rounded.
Yeah.
Looks a little better. We'll show that too. right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So now this is gonna be the problem. We're gonna have to switch spots
Okay.
to do it again.
That's fine. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
One, two, 4.
Good. Get the pedal just right this time. This time I was trying to walk with the pedal.
Sweet.
All right, so we got the floor all thrown back in. I just did a quick DA over it. My little corning tool, half-ass tool. Idea wasn't as refined as I would have liked. I need to make an actual like dedicated coining tool because it took some finish work with a pick end of the hammer and it gouged it up a little bit. For floor, it's fine, but you know that's something I need to next time do a little better. But otherwise, turned out really good. I'm happy with it. Everything. Fits like really bitchin'. If you look in the edges and everything, it's nice tight fit. So this will be really easy to weld in place. So now that we got this fitted really good, I got my extra hanging over here, which we're gonna leave alone for now. What we're gonna do next time is work on getting the old floor cut out. I'm gonna get Andrew to spray some self-etch primer on this so we're good there. And then we're gonna work on making our strengthening ribs and get our latch in, and then we can weld the floor and it'll be ready to go. And then I think after that, we're gonna actually work on this rear panel because it ties into the trunk floor. Even though I want to work on that firewall, I think we need to take care of that first just to get everything tied in structurally sound. So that's all I have for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little update on the 39 Forgotten Hot Rod project. If you're not, definitely subscribe and click the little bell icon to get notifications because we're doing videos 3 times a week on Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sunday. And drop us a comment down below. What do you think of the new added trunk space now that we can fit like a dead body or puppies in here or food or camera gear or who knows. But anyways, let me know what you think of the update on the 39 down below. Thanks guys. Catch you later.